1 pound of 50/70, so small medium-sized shrimp, peeled, deveined, washed. Now here's the thing, you head over to the Costco, the Sam's Club, you can get this in the frozen section. They're raw, but they've already been deveined and shelled. So if you want an easy option, head over there. Peeled, deveined, washed. Now here's the thing, 50/70, they're sort of small, medium-sized shrimp. I am going to treat this more of a salad rather than a true ceviche, which would be chopped. So it really doesn't matter the shrimp you use. I just find that the smaller shrimp, first of all, tends to be sweeter, a much better flavor. But you can use any size shrimp, and if you're making it as a true ceviche, you want to chop it up into maybe about 1.5 centimeter size pieces, so give it a rough chop. The other thing I want to mention, I am using raw shrimp, which means it has to cook. And when I say cook, I mean I have lemon juice and lime juice, which I'm going to pour over here. Give it a good mix, stick it in the fridge for 1 hour to 1 hour and 20 minutes or so. And that acid in the citrus, if you want to add some orange juice, will cook it. If you're using already cooked shrimp, you don't need to put it in the fridge for any period of time. You would just pour that lemon juice on there, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then you will add the other ingredients. So, like I said, I'm treating this more of a salad. I don't know if I saw that. I said that already. So this is why my shrimp are whole. Lemon juice, lime juice. And what's gonna happen is that's gonna cook the shrimp, and it's gonna go opaque, and it's gonna, you know, you see how it's like limp? That's gonna firm up. So what I want to do now, I make sure everything is tucked under that citrus there, because that's a good mix. Yeah, 2 different flavor profiles between lime and lemon, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm using 2 different types of citrus in there. And again, if you want to use some clementine juice in there, if you want to use some orange juice in there, grapefruit juice, nah, let me hold off on somebody. No, make juice with that. Into the fridge now. I'm just going to lightly cover it with some plastic wrap. Into the fridge for about at least 1 hour. So I've got my little snippers here, and I'll show you 2 things I want to add. You know, typically you would add cilantro, but I am going the Caribbean route, which is shadow benny, bandania, or culantro. All of those are the different names. So I'm just going to pick a few of these leaves. I'm going to snip them up there. The other thing is, now remember, if you can't find shadow benny, you can use cilantro, or some people call coriander. Back here I have some chive, and I like adding the chive. That's oregano over there, but this is the chive here. I like adding the chive because it adds a slight garlicky flavor to the ceviche. It's been just over 1 hour, and you can see the sort of color I was talking about. It's going to change color. It's going to become more opaque. They're going to be more firm to the touch. And these are ready. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned it already. 2 things. Make sure it's in the fridge when you have it in that citrus juice there. And the second thing is, I'm using a glass container, a glass bowl. You don't want to use something that's reactive like copper or stainless steel or any one of those things, because the acid in it will cause issues. So now that we are here, it's about time to add the other ingredients. I'll just shift over here. Again, I'm treating this as a salad, so you're gonna see mango, of course, tomato. This is the bottom half of a Scotch bonnet pepper. It's not a fully mature Scotch bonnet pepper that I chopped up really fine. If you don't like spicy, if you don't like heat, you don't have to. I also got the chives, you saw me in the backyard, the chopped up shadow benny, 2 tomatoes, some diced onion we'll need, some sea salt, some black pepper, and I will also add some diced avocado in here as well. Now again, if you diced up the shrimp, had you diced it, this would have been, you know, you'd be able to scoop with plantain chips or cassava chips or corn chips, whatever. You can use it for scooping this. I'm treating it more as a salad, as I said. Time to assemble everything. So fresh ground black pepper, red onion. I've got that chive. Time for the mango to go in there. The tomato. My avocado. And don't worry, buddy, avocado won't go black on you as it typically would, because we've got all of that once we mix it in there. And I may need to switch to a bigger bowl. Well, maybe not, who knows. But Chris loves making a mess, but the acid in here will prevent the avocado from going discolored. That Scotch bonnet pepper that I chopped up. And remember, if you're using your fingers and your hands like I am, we've talked about this several times before. And by the way, here's where most of that heat is going to be, the sort of white membrane surrounding the seeds here. So you don't need to include that. I didn't. What I was going to say in regards to the Scotch bonnet pepper, we've talked about it before. Wash your hands with soap and water immediately after handling such peppers. And of course, the shadow benny, also called bandana or culantro, if you cannot source it, all I would suggest you use is cilantro, which some people call coriander. So you notice what we have here. It's a beautiful bowl of color. It's summertime. Nothing speaks summer more than a lovely ceviche. And being very gentle, not to make a mess, all I'm doing is incorporating all of those ingredients together. And I'm telling you, summertime, a nice little adult beverage there. This here is pure niceness. Uncle Chris in, yo, listen, let this thing sit for about 15 minutes or so after you've added the mango and everything else, just for the other flavors, that citrus and everything to work in there. Uncle Chris saying, I hope you guys get an opportunity to give this one a try.